Hey, what's going on? What's going on, everybody out there? Welcome to the Income Producing Assets Show. I'm your host, Erwin Anderson. Here at Ander Enterprise, we choose to focus on achieving financial security through income producing assets. And today we have somebody who's going to talk to us about some income producing assets. So today we are here with Delante. He blessed the stage with us today. So let's give it up for Delante.
What's up?
What's going on? How you doing today?
I'm doing great.
All right, cool. Man, definitely blessed to have you on the stage. Coming from overseas, making plays, as we like to call quarterbacking from way overseas in another country. So, as the listeners, get to know you, Delante, can you, just tell us a little bit about you, and how you got started on, income producing assets.
Okay. So my name is Delante. I was born and raised in the DMV. I actually purchased my first house in 2009. And if anybody remembers that time way back then, that was right after the housing crash. So the government was actually giving tax credits to purchase property. So my coworkers, in their wisdom, was like, hey man, you want to get into real estate? I'm like, I can't buy a house. So, they was like, hey man, there's this tax credit out there. So I jumped into my first property at the age of 22. So fast forward a couple of years.
Wow, that's young, bro.
Yes, sir. I was real young. Fast forward a couple of years, I got that call to go overseas. So, you know what I'm saying? When you go overseas, anybody who's been in the military, anybody who's had traveling jobs, know what that feels like. Got overseas, and I was like, okay, what do I do with my property? It was sitting there, and I was like, yo, I'm going to become a landlord. So became a landlord. I turned a liability into an asset. That was my first income producing property. I didn't know 10 years later, I would have 5 individual properties, and I would have 3 apartment syndication deals.
Nice. So that first property at the age of 22,
yes.
Where was that property?
That property was in York. That property was in York, Pennsylvania.
York, Pennsylvania. Where were you at the time? You were living in York?
So I was actually working in DC. I was working in the Fort Meade area. So
okay.
if anybody knows how far away that is 74 miles one way from my place. I didn't quite think that through.
You said how many miles?
74 miles one way.
One way. Wow. So you were working at Fort Meade. This is good. Yeah. You were working at Fort Meade at 22 years old, and you bought a house in York, Pennsylvania, 72 miles away. So did you live in it, or that was an investment property?
I lived in it. So my goal was to have a property, right? I was considering properties in my area, but the price was so high. Wow. So like, I don't know if anybody, has thought about tax strategy from a state income tax perspective, but the state tax in Pennsylvania is 3.09%. The state taxes in Maryland is a lot higher. So somehow at the age of 22, I was thinking about taxes.
Right. Wow. Damn.
It's crazy.
That was your first investment property. That's actually similar to my situation. I was stationed in Fort Sill, Lawton, and we bought a house in northern OKC, which is about 90 miles away. So definitely can relate to that situation 100%. So then, man, so you got that property, and then they told you that, hey, you're gonna have to go overseas.
Okay, but so on my side, I'm a government contractor, right? So I had the option. They was like, hey, you want to go to Guam? I'm like, okay. Guam. I couldn't even tell you where it was on the map.
I can relate to that situation too. Yep.
So ahead. I get on a plane about 20 something miles away, and I'm like, what did I just do? So now I had this house, and I had no plans for it. I'm like, yo, at that time I was 23 years old. Right. At 23 years old, do you know anything about being a landlord? Nope. Somebody told me, oh, you can be a landlord. All right, bet. So I hit up my real estate agent and was like, hey man, put a tenant in this house. Next thing I know, house is producing income. I'm like, oh, it was this easy. That's what's up.
Okay. So in Yorktown, Pennsylvania. So now you in Guam. I'm assuming the pay is a little bit better in Guam than it is in Puerto Rico.
Wait, come on, man.
Okay,
You know,
yeah.
if the government contract overseas, the game changes.
So now you're in Guam, and then you have your first income producing asset in Yorktown, Pennsylvania. It's got a tenant in there, long-term tenant, right?
Long-term tenant.
Mm.
So
and
very
then-
easy. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Yeah, yeah.
So it's very easy to manage. You know what I mean? You think to yourself, okay, this is difficult. Now you hire a property management company, long-term, 12-month lease, life is good.
Wow. Okay, cool. So that's the first income producing asset. And then where do we go from there?
So here I am in Guam.
Mhm.
Assets are stacking up.
Right,
you know,
right.
I mean, I had a bank account that was so big at the time. I didn't understand. I was like, yo, I need to put this money somewhere because otherwise I'm gonna blow it. So then I was looking at tropical islands. I'm like, okay, Guam is really cool, but how am I going to manage a house this far from the States when I go back, right? So I'm like, okay, keeping with the theme of tropical islands, I want to invest in Puerto Rico. So I bought my second house in Puerto Rico.
Okay, nice, nice. So you're in Guam, and then you bought a property in Puerto Rico.
Yes.
Wow. So you still have your Yorktown property, and now you got your Guam. You got a why Puerto Rico, bro?
So Puerto Rico, again, my thought process was, the whole tropical island life is dope. One day I'm going to want to retire.
Absolutely. Yep.
So then where am I going to want to retire? In a place just like Guam. Puerto Rico has very similar weather, in the Caribbean. It's a territory. And there were a lot of, and this is a common theme, there were a lot of tax breaks available in Puerto Rico.
Wow.
So if I can expound a little bit more, basically when I was thinking about buying that property, I did some research. I hit up my friend who's from Puerto Rico, and I was like, talk to your family, ask them, is this area good? So they said, oh, this is an up and coming area, it's really bougie, only rich people live there. Cool. So then I'm like, okay, well, who purchased the project? There was this guy from New York. His name is Nick Proty. He's a billionaire, hedge fund guy. He was a takeover specialist. So basically he specialized in taking over distressed properties. So essentially what happened was another company was building out this nice mixed use complex. They ran out of money. Hedge fund guy pops in and said, I'll buy it for 200 million, 300 million, whatever the case is. And his job was to revitalize it, build more units, and create this monster. But of course it takes time to grow these things. So my first house, I bought it in 2014. Second place, I bought in 2018. And then it started to get crazy. So what happened in 2018 was he actually started working on this tower called Tower 1000. In Tower 1000, he was telling the real estate agents, hey, the prices are going to triple. So, of course, I'm, the whole time I had my ear to the ground, I'm like, okay, what do you mean the prices are going to triple? Now, my first house, I bought it for $170,000 for a 1-bedroom. Second house, I bought it for $282,000 for a 2-bedroom. So, I'm like, okay, these are all relatively affordable.
Right.
Fast forward a couple of years, they had penthouses going for 1.2 million. Wow. The most expensive unit in that community right now is 1.9 million.
And this is Tower 1000s?
Tower 1000, which is in my community.
Ooh. Damn. So all that started with reaching out to your buddy who is a real estate agent in Puerto Rico, you said, right?
So my friend was actually, she wasn't a real estate agent at all. She just had family. I was in Guam, right?
Right,
I had
right.
a friend who was Puerto Rican. She reached out to her family, who were also Puerto Rican, and they basically gave me a lay of the land. I was like, hey, if you're gonna buy in Puerto Rico, you want to buy here. We just hear big things are on the horizon.
Right.
So I reached out to a real estate agent. This was a brand. These both of these were brand new. No one lived in them,
Mm,
and they were building out this community.
right.
So you know what I'm saying. When I purchased it, there were like 3 towers. Now they're 10.
Wow. So you got in there early back in 2018,
2014 was my first property.
2014.
Yes,
Damn. So you got in there in 2014 and then you did it again in 2018.
correct. And then
Another property in Puerto Rico.
in 2018, it was ramping.
Right. So then, damn. So you got in at a low price and then now they're all the way up, all the way up.
Yes, things are going good. So I actually sold out of my 2 bedroom um, last year in 2021, January. I had an all cash buyer.
Yeah, explain that. Explain that. I remember that. Explain that situation.
Okay.
People
Okay.
need to hear this. Go ahead.
So at the time, I was actually renting. I was doing a corporate rental, right? This is a 2 bedroom. I only paid $282,000 for it. So my mortgage was $1,263 a month. I was
Okay.
renting it out for $4,000 a month.
Whew.
The person who was staying in it was actually an artist. His name is Eladio Carrion. At the time, he had 900,000 subscribers. I just looked him up a couple days ago. He has 2.7 million subscribers.
Damn. Okay.
So that means that he's doing his thing, right?
Right. Absolutely.
Now while the place was occupied, right? I'm fielding offers, and my real estate agent came in and said, "Hey, I got a lady. She wants to give you an all cash offer." I was like, "Okay, cool. What's the offer?" 400,000.
400.
So I paid. So I paid 200,000 for this place. I had it less than 3 years, and I made what is it, 118,000, I believe,
And then, golly, just like that.
just like that.
But you were renting it for, you say, almost 3 years?
So I was renting it from the time that I purchased it. I actually did a really big renovation on that home. When I purchased it, it was brand new. It had no furniture. It had no appliances. I turned around and just went for it. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? I furnished the house, and I got all the appliances, all high end appliances. And my first tenant was paying $3,500 a month.
3,500, but your mortgage was only 1,200
Yes,
and they're paying 35. Let me
yes.
write that down. Wow. So you're cash flowing right there, and that's passive
All
because
passive.
you're in Guam.
I was in Guam.
You're in Guam. The property's in Puerto Rico. You're
Hmm.
getting cash flow every single month, and then you have your
Hmm.
property in Yorktown too.
Yes. At that time, yep, I had 3 properties.
And then you got another one in Puerto Rico. So then about 3 years you sold it and got 100 and almost $200,000 cash off of that sale.
Yes, so I got 118,000 profit.
118,000 profit, not to
Yes,
mention the cash flow you was already collecting then.
correct.
Wow. So you essentially, this is what I love. So you essentially got that house for free
Yeah,
because
yeah.
it
I
paid.
mean, you're right now in that particular house, how did it work? I had to put down 20%. So I bought it as an investment property. So you know how that
Right,
goes. You got to put
right.
down 20%. I did spend a lot of money renovating it and putting furniture in it. Just like an Airbnb, I made it. I made it into a corporate rental. So
Corporate rent.
oh,
Okay, nice. I love it.
corporate
Yeah.
rental. So the whole house is furnished, and I'm renting to a corporation rather than a person.
Yo, so I do Airbnbs and I'm very interested in the corporate rentals. How did you go about getting that corporate lease?
It's all about relationships. So I remember speaking to my agent, right? The first corporate lease that I had, there was a company, I believe it was a pharmaceutical company. They had some people who were placed in Puerto Rico. The real estate agent is always has their ear to the ground. She was like, I
Absolutely.
know, she's like, I know somebody who's looking for a corporate lease. Now I have to show her multiple places, but can I consider your place? Absolutely. Now what they require is that the home is fully furnished, and that all of the that the lights, the power, the water, and the cable and phone service come in the same package. I'm like, okay, that's cool, easy. Set all that stuff up, and when everything was ready, she chose my place and moved in.
Wow. So the real estate agent is the one who got you the corporate lease.
Absolutely.
Man, that's game right there. And it's just like an Airbnb, but that was a longer lease, right? Seems like
It was a year lease up to a year and a half.
for 3,500 a month. Wow, a corporate lease.
The first one was to a pharmaceutical company, and it was their executive who was staying in the house, right? They
Right.
basically did like a year and 3 months or so and moved out. And then the next corporate lease that I had was with a music production company, and they had signed an artist.
Wow.
So my contract was with the music production company.
Wow. So those are your corporate leases, and it's all run through your real estate agent.
Yep.
Oh my goodness, bro.
Mhm.
That's fire right there. So damn. So you're in Guam. Oh, so make sure y'all get this story. Like he's in Guam, right? Making extra pay through government contracting, right?
Yep.
So he's running up a bag through government contracts, and then he's got an income producing asset in Yorktown, and then 2 more income producing assets in Puerto Rico.
Yes.
And with corporate leases to where it's a lease over a year, and they're paying 35,000, and his mortgage is 1,200. So I just want to let that sink into me, man. That's so, but there's more to come, right? That's not it.
That's not it. That's not it. Okay, so I sold the house in New York because I brought it for tax reasons, but it wasn't producing like the ones in Puerto Rico. I got spoiled. You know what I'm saying? I'm sitting here like, yo, hold on a second. This property right here is just struggling along. The ones in Puerto Rico is killing it. You know what I'm saying? What's going on? So I sold out of one of the houses in Puerto Rico because I wanted to buy a house in Las Vegas. It was always my dream. So I bought the house in Las Vegas
Right,
in
right.
2020.
2020.
Yes.
So you sold in 2020. Now we're in Vegas
Yes.
because that's something you always want to do and you had in your vision from ever since, right?
Ever since.
So so you sold the house in Pennsylvania,
Yes.
and then you took that and bought a place in Vegas.
Correct.
Okay, so then still 3 properties. Oh, so what's tell us about the Vegas deal?
So the Vegas deal was in Summerlin. It was right across the street from a casino called Red Rock Casino.
Mhm.
Gated community, very high end. I
Mm.
paid $475,000 for this unit.
Mm.
And again, I got spoiled in Puerto Rico. So I'm saying like, yo, sold out the house in Pennsylvania. I'm going for it. I'm going for it. You know what I'm saying?
Right, right. I love it.
So,
I love it.
so my mortgage and property taxes and all that good stuff was maybe around 2280, and I rented this one for 3699 to a casino
Mm.
executive.
Is this a corporate lease as well or a traditional?
It was traditional, but it was to a casino executive.
So
I was like, this is my rate.
all this time you're still in Guam.
Okay, so at this particular point, this was December of 2020. I had just transitioned from Guam to the Middle East, where I am now.
Yep. Okay, so from Guam straight to Middle East.
Straight to Middle East.
So then now you're in the Middle East, and then you get the Vegas property
Correct.
in 2020, right?
Yes.
So the
December 2020.
December 2020, the Vegas property, high-end property. You're seeing a whole nother side of income producing assets, particularly real estate at this time, and overseas real estate, man, in freaking Puerto Rico. I love it. So you got the 2 in Puerto Rico, and now you're like, okay, get rid of Yorktown. Did you do a 1031 to get the Vegas?
Nope.
Okay,
so what happened was I sold the house in Pennsylvania in 2019. So I had 3 houses for a short period of time. So I brought the second house in Puerto Rico in 2018, sold the one in Pennsylvania in 2019, then brought the one in Vegas in 2020.
Okay, cool.
So I just want to give you the timeline.
Got it. So how old are you in 2020 about? Or
2020, I was 30, man, goodness gracious. 33.
So now you started at 22. Now you're 33. You got some experience under your belt now.
I got a little bit of experience on my belt.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
right. So and then you're seeing a whole nother side and what the potential really is, as you say, spoiled. So like now I'm looking for these type of returns. So you get this house in Vegas and it's producing, you said you rented out to an executive at Vegas. Is this all done through the real estate agent as well?
Yep, but these are different real estate agents because remember, you know what I'm saying? I had relationships in Pennsylvania. I had relationships in Las Vegas. In Puerto Rico, and now I'm getting some relationships in Las Vegas.
Nice, nice.
So these are all different people.
Right. So now you know what you're looking for in a real estate agent. You know that, and then you have your Vegas. They get your your traditional lease, and it's to an executive of a casino. Okay, and then these are our income produced assets. Okay, and then where are we going from here?
Okay, so then I kept that property for about a year and a half, and then the market went crazy. So I'm sitting here like, yo, you know what I'm saying? It's time to sell. You know what I'm saying? So I hit up my agent. This was this year, 2022.
Right.
So I hit up my agent, and I'm like, hey man, you know, I just want to know how the market is in Las Vegas. I'm ready to sell. He was like, you want to sell your property in that location? It's like, yeah. He was like, man, we going for it. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Let's go. Let's see how this works out. You know what I'm saying? So fast forward a couple of months, I ended up getting 2 all cash offers. One of them actually went to the end. So I ended up making $210,000 in profit.
Wow. Off of the sell that Vegas.
Off the sell of the Vegas house.
So it seems like you going to each level. Each level you're making more profit off of the sale and getting 100%. Bigger deals. So this time, last time it was $118,000 profit. This time it was a 200, what again?
$210,000.
$210 profit. Wow. So you got this golly, man. Let's
Yeah, man. I'm trying to keep stepping it up. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a lot of success out here. So I'm just kind of cutting my teeth. So that's when, after I sold out of that one, you know, you're like, okay, you finished. Nope, just getting started. After that, I actually got with our guy Razul and got into apartment syndication deals. So here it is, April. I get into one in Jacksonville, Florida. In May, I got into another one in San Marcos, Texas. And then I had another one in June in Nashville, Tennessee.
Wow. And then okay, got it. So you got 3 apartment deal syndications.
Yes.
So one in, you said San Marcos, Jacksonville, and
Nashville.
And Nashville, Tennessee.
Yes.
All hot markets. So then what is how many doors is that?
194 doors.
194 doors. And then, whoa, hold on.
Come on, man, let's go.
Let's go. I love it. Yes. So now you like 10x it to a whole nother level to where you're like, okay, let me get into these apartment deal syndications and continue to run these plays. I just want to tell y'all something. He's continuing to run these plays from overseas. He's overseas quarterbacking plays and just scoring bigger and bigger touchdowns. The analogy just came up, but man, so now we got 194 doors of apartment syndication. You got your Puerto Rico properties, right?
Yep, I have one Puerto Rico property left, my very first one, and then I have one in Austin, Texas. I have a they call it a detached condo, but pretty much, you know, a single residence.
Wow. So then we got, golly. So then all this is producing, these are income producing assets, people, that are coming in while he's working overseas in the Middle East. So you're running up a bag, I don't know, for all my government or military members, you know, he's over there overseas making some serious dough. So he's over there doing what he's got to do over there, but then he's also got income producing assets coming in as well. That's major. So is there more to real estate, or is there another income producing asset that you have?
So I do have another income producing asset. So the real estate stuff is taken care of, man. It's feel like a whole web over there, it's a whole
Right.
web, you know what I'm saying? And then
Uh-huh.
also back in March of this year, I rented my Tesla out on Turo.
Mm. Okay,
So
dope,
so so
dope.
I had a car. I had a 2018 Tesla Model 3 Performance wrapped green, just sitting in the garage.
Where is this
And
at?
so this is in Las Vegas.
Okay, yep.
It was sitting in the garage, and then I had this bright idea, after getting into some masterminds and finding out what's possible with cars. I was like, I need to turn this liability into an asset. So the first thing I did is I had to find a business partner, right? I can't run a rental car company from the Middle East. I got to find somebody, right? So I found a partner. His
Mhm.
name is Demario. He runs a company called Elevate Your Rentals. He has about 20 cars, and I gave him my car to run it out. Did a management contract, and start producing income.
Wow, it's cool. So you got that's on what platform is that?
Turo. So we do a combination of Turo private rentals, and then we also do some photo shoots.
Ooh, that's fire. So damn, so you got the real estate plays, and those are doing phenomenally well. And then you got
Mhm.
Toro income producing assets there as well. And then is
Yes.
there more?
So for cars, I have two vehicles, right? So I have the 2018 Tesla Model 3 Performance, and I just got the 2022 Tesla Model X Plaid. That was an interesting play. So how that came about was after I sold my houses, well, my house. I was looking at what else I could do. I wanted to do something that was big, So I go to Navy Fed and I say, hey, what can y'all give me? What can I get pre-approved for? They actually pre-approved me for a $200,000 vehicle,
Mm.
and I'm like, what am I going to pay for this 200,000? So I was looking at a McLaren, and I was looking at a Tesla Model X Plaid. I'm like, which one am I going to do? And I decided on the Tesla Model X Plaid because I really believe in Tesla's mission and how simple it is to run a car. So
Absolutely.
then fast forward a couple months, started seeing what my circle looked like, and I struck a deal with brother Frank
Mhm.
to go and see if he can run it out there in Miami.
Damn, that's dope. That's dope, bro. So, damn. So, as I'm sitting here, listening to your story, which is absolutely phenomenal. I mean, we talk on a regular basis, and you're telling me these things, and it's just like, wow, it's just amazing that your level of mindset and how you think, and doing this from another country, because I know how it is when you're over there, and you can feel limited, but you're not using that as an excuse. You're out here getting it and just dominating on a whole nother level. And I think would you think, what would you say? I'm seeing like relationships. You got real estate agents everywhere. You got people with the syndication was Razul. You have
Mhm.
DeMarco, brother Frank, and all these are enabling you to really level up, not only helping yourself but helping other people as well. It's like a win-win situation, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. The goal is that you can't do these big things by yourself, right? You know what I'm saying? Like successful business owners are able to grow, are only able to grow and scale with partnerships.
Absolutely. That's fire. That's fire, bro. So my next question is, I mean, how do you, balance your life around your business having minimal amounts of time?
So that's tough, you know what I'm saying? Like when it comes down to focus, right? Like when one thing is in focus, other things are going to be out of focus. And when
Hmm.
and when other things are out of focus, then you know what I'm saying, the vice versa. So, it comes down to time management. You know what I'm saying? You gotta be be hyper focused on the things that you're working on at that particular time. We all got the same 24 hours in a day. You know what I'm saying? But how do you spend it? You think about the most successful people in the world, your Elon Musk of the world. How in the world does he have time to run 3, 4, 5 businesses? You know what I'm saying? I
Right.
mean, he has the same amount of time in a day, but he makes efficient use of each hour, each minute, each second.
So just the maximum priority or the maximum focus on the time that you have.
Mhm.
Okay, nice, nice. All right, so man, you know what I'm saying? If a person, had a full-time job, when they first getting started with income producing assets, are you still working a full-time job?
I am.
Okay. And are you planning on keeping that full-time job and doing, your income producing assets as part-time as you're doing now?
So yes, my plan long term, of course, is to give up my full-time job. But I want to get to the point to where I'm producing enough passive income to replace my active income.
Hmm. Nice, nice. And what time frame do you think you will do that?
So my target at the moment is 5 years. And in 5 years, if I haven't walked away from my job, something went wrong.
5 years, because you know what I'm saying, we ready for you to come back, what I'm saying, to America.
No, man, no.
And I know you on the grind, and everything you do is with the purpose, and you know what I mean, you're setting yourself up for that right time. And I just want everybody out there to really, really, really take brother Delante's advice. You know what I'm saying? One, how he's talking about relationships and how he's able to scale up. The example with Elon Musk, how is he able to do it? And then his time, what I'm saying, is very prioritized and focused. And then the third thing is he's not jumping out the window, quitting his job right now. Even though he just told us all the stuff he's got going on. But he's not, for all you, everybody's out there who's thinking about, what I'm saying, quitting your job and doing this full time. Make sure it's a calculated risk, and that, what I'm saying, you're maximizing the full potential or everything you got out of your job. Because for a lot of us, our job is what is helping us, what I'm saying, get these. I mean, he just said he got $207,000 auto for the Tesla Plaid X and all that. So just make sure you're really thinking about what you're doing, and what I mean, seeking, people who have done it and talking to them, like how you're doing it with people like Delante, people like myself and the other guests that's come on. Reach out to them, what I'm saying, say, hey, what I'm saying, I had a question about this, that, and what I'm saying, more than happy to, what I'm saying, to help or give you guys our advice. So just want to drop that out there for everybody out there. The next thing is, here at Andrew Income Producing Assets, what I'm saying, we focus on maximizing our time because, we're busy professionals with full-time jobs, family obligations, what I'm saying, other various circumstances. So, what I'm saying, we're going to switch to what I like to call, the Andrew coaching round. So, basically this is our how-to part of the show. During this portion of the interview, our Andrew listeners, you can receive expert advice for creating a sustainable business or income producing assets from a successful professional such as yourself, Delante.
Okay.
So we're going to go ahead and start with a few questions, and please answer to the best of your ability within 1 to 2 minutes per question. So you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, listeners, you ready? All right, let's get it. So the first thing is, do you think another person can have, the same success, similar or greater success if they're working, a full-time job, or had, very minimal time to contribute to their business, and why or why not?
Absolutely. We all have different circumstances, but if you're focused and you're disciplined, you know what I'm saying, and you set goals that are as high as the sky, you know what I'm saying, even if you don't meet them, you know what I'm saying, you're still going to be way further than you would be if you set your goals low. Like the biggest tragedy in life isn't that we don't hit the crazy goals that we have, is that we set the bar too low. So I think anybody who's driven and who really has a burning desire to make their dreams come true, they can do it.
Absolutely, man. Thank you for that. The next one is, if a person, had a full-time job and very limited amounts of time, what could they do to start successful income producing assets such as yours?
I would say the first thing that I would focus on is putting a small amount of money away in the stock market. Those think back 10 years. Where was Tesla at? You know what I'm saying? Anybody could have invested in Tesla. Anybody could have invested in your GMs of the world, your Amazons of the world. But you know what I'm saying? You had to have that mindset that if I put money in today, it is going to grow in the future.
That's dope. That's dope. And that's a very, very valuable lesson. Um, be cognizant of what you're doing with the money you're getting. And then also to remember that, one stream of income is too close to none. And, with inflation going on, they say it's up to like 9% across everywhere. So the price of things are going up. And the only way you can hedge against that is income producing assets. So the market's gonna do its thing, but over time it's going to go up. There's going to be dips, but it's historically going up. So just like you said, taking that money and putting it aside into something that will grow or hedge against inflation. Definitely, definitely. So if a person, the next question, Delante, is, but if a person, had a full-time job, very or either very minimal amounts of time to contribute to a business that was up and running, and generating income, how would you go about, scaling that business, income produced assets similar to yours?
Oh man, you know what I'm saying? The best thing I found out is in 2022 that there was a thing called apartment syndication. And it is an type of investment that you can scale quite easily, and you don't have to participate. In a apartment syndication deal. I'm sorry, real quick. There's a GP side and there's an LP side. For me, I jumped into the LP side, the limited partnership side, meaning that I trust the experts to run the project.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's dope. I love that he said that. So definitely more people need to get into apartment syndications to where you're putting it in the hands of the experts. You know what I'm saying? There's a whole team around them, the 194 units. They have professional property management, professional maintenance people, professional different sectors of the general partner that they're doing underwriting, what I'm saying, acquisition. They have KPs, somebody who's going to put their name on the line to sign for that, and then you're jumping on that ship that's already kind of like a well-oiled machine, and it's proven, it's already, what I'm saying, good to go. So definitely one of the safest places to put your money, because as you know, real estate is not really tanking the way that other things are. It's kind of it's a proven thing that's been around forever, because people will always need a place to live, some water, and some food. These are necessities. There's no human being that can go without those things. And then, apartments, they're the experts, and they know what they're doing when it comes to, as like here in New York City, all the apartment complexes are they're raising the prices of rent that are astronomically high. Rents are astronomically high. We're talking about $4,000 for a little 1-bedroom, 1-bath. And they're able to charge this because that's just what the market's doing. And then the mortgage will be lower. And then who's benefiting off that? The LPs. They're getting their mailbox money, their cash. The people who invested into these things that are continuing to rise, because people always need a place to live. Awesome. Thank you for that, Delante. All right, the last question. Oh, we got another question is, and I personally love this question. You hear each person has a different perspective, and I'm curious to know what brother Delante is going to say with this. All right, so the question is, if you were down to your last $100, I'm talking about this is the last $100 in your pocket, and you wanted to start, a business or income producing assets similar to yours, what would you do to make money ASAP?
Dang, that's kind of a Grant Cardone kind of question. You know what I'm saying? $100. I feel like I would spend that $100, following someone who is very successful in that particular field that I want to get into, and I would just learn from them. I would take an unpaid internship with them.
Mm.
To see what kind of systems they have in place, see what kind of temperament that they have when they're around customers or doing business, and when they're in stressful situations. You know what I'm saying? Because I think experience can be a good teacher, but I think leadership and mentorship can be an even better way to learn.
Absolutely. So you're gaining the knowledge and the network through service.
Yes.
That's dope. That's dope. Love it. I love it. All right, cool. So the next one is, how long would it take to start generating income with the strategy you just gave?
Okay. Well, I mean, again, it would depend. It would depend on how strong your networking skills are, and I think it would depend on, if the person that you're shadowing actually recognizes that you have a skill set that you can bring to the table. I follow a guy named David Shands, and David Shands said that his top camera guy hit him up
I was
in
thinking
the
the same
DMs. Hit him up in
person.
the DMs. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
it was like, yo, I work for you for free, and
yeah,
came to be a servant.
right.
And now as David Shands came up, he
He
came up.
came up too. Yep, absolutely, man. It is shot by Brandon, right?
Yep, that's him.
He does the photography and videography, and now he mentors other people, and he's very successful dealing with all the highest level entrepreneurs and stuff like that. Definitely, and I follow David Shands too, man. He's definitely a dope person. Sleepers for Suckers.
That's
He
him.
actually, I think he was under Eric Thomas, serving under
Mhm.
him, and then
That's
started
dope.
his own thing and through the network and blossomed into the same thing with Brandon Shotme, who was his in the same videography. So definitely ways that or definitely great advice that anybody can implement immediately. All right,
Absolutely.
so that concludes the coaching round, and I just got a few questions before we conclude. And what is a great business or personal development book that you can recommend or you would recommend to the Andrew listeners to read or to listen to?
So I actually just looked up the book right before we jumped on. I would say the book is called Tax Free Wealth: How to Build Massive Wealth by Permanently Lowering Your Taxes. It's a book by Tom Wheelwright.
Tom Wheelwright.
Yes.
So
Tax
dope.
Free Wealth,
Tax like taxes, right?
as in taxes. Yes.
Taxes.
Tax Free
Tax.
Wealth.
We talking about taxes, y'all. It's very, very important that we all need. Everybody. That's another thing. I guess the fourth one would be taxes. Everybody pays taxes. You pay that tax when you die. What's it called? Estate tax. You pay taxes on sales tax. You pay income
Mhm.
tax. There's another tax. But you taxes and everything. So it's very important. And I think Rich Dad Poor Dad was one of the things that he said, accounting and taxes is something that the wealth really need to understand, or, find somebody who does understand to what your situation. So yeah, I'm gonna definitely check out this book, man. Thank you for dropping that knowledge. Tax-Free Wealth by Tom Wheelwright, right?
That's it.
All right, cool. All right, Delante, man, you just killing it. And every year you seem to put it on a bigger scale and a bigger level. So, and I know you're going to continue to grow. And where do you see yourself 5 years from now? So, when we come back 5 years and you'd be like, when the next, what's his name? Grant Cardone, I'd be like, man, he was on here when he started. Yeah.
In 5 years, I definitely see myself as a millionaire. I set very big goals. And to me, I define a millionaire as someone who has $1 million in liquid assets. So it's not about what you make, it's what you keep.
Absolutely, man, that's fire. And I have no doubt that you're gonna get there probably before 5 years. All
I
right,
love it.
man. Delante, man. So how can the listeners, get in touch with you?
Okay, so I can be reached on Instagram. My Instagram handle is in the mix flow. Sorry, I don't really produce a lot of content, you know what I'm saying? But if you wanted to privately DM me any questions that you have, I'll definitely respond as quick as I can.
Absolutely. So in the mix flow, you heard it, people, man. It's Delante. He just dropped some major gems that I know is changing somebody's life, is helping somebody out there on how, you know what I'm saying, he was able to get his income producing assets through real estate. And just his whole story there is phenomenal. Moving into Toro, all this while working through the government, working with the government and being in Guam and in the Middle East. So he also dropped some gems, a book to read, tax-free wealth. And the biggest thing I would say, man, is his mindset, right? That's the biggest thing that I want you guys to pick up from these conversations, man. It's how these people think, people like Delante who are operating on this level, and take some gems from there and apply that to your situation, to, you know, to your tool bag, so you can improve your situation. So on that note, brother Delante, man, of course, man, I appreciate you, brother, for coming on. Have a blessed day and continued success to you.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate the time.
Absolutely. All right now.
All right, brother. Take care.